You actually covered most of my material. That's okay. We'll. I just wanted to quickly thank everyone again, and Naughty too, since you didn't have your own name up there. These events are, we do several dozen of them a year all over the world, and they don't happen without local community members putting a lot of effort into it. So thank you to all of you guys for doing this and helping to build the global community. I'm going to be introducing some speakers from some of those companies that Naughty mentioned in just a minute. But to start with, I just wanted to talk for a few minutes about some of the trends that we're seeing, and not just in OpenStack, but really overall what we're seeing with kind of technology and infrastructure. As you heard, we had our most recent OpenStack Summit in Austin just about a month ago now. The first OpenStack Summit was in July of 2010, also in Austin, and we had 75 people there. So that's just a fraction of what we have here today, 75 people. When we were there in Austin a month ago, we had 7,800. So the growth that you're seeing here, we also see that globally in the OpenStack community overall. Our most recent software release was the Mitaka release, and we had over 2,300 contributors from 385 different organizations contributing to it. So the number of people who are contributing continues to grow. I love coming to these events because we get to meet new users, new companies who are deploying the software, as well as new contributors who are helping us to build the software. And so it was really neat to see the people who are participating in a big way here in Israel. But the thing that was really exciting in Austin for me, I think there were two big trends, two big themes that we saw. One was what Naughty said about it's kind of reached the point of no return. It's really crossed that threshold now. At the summit in Austin, we had the largest companies in the world speaking about how they use OpenStack. So AT&T, they did a keynote. They talked about the work that they're doing, both for their internal applications as well as their virtualizing their network. AT&T is the largest integrated carrier in the world. China Mobile spoke as well. China Mobile is the largest mobile phone company in the world, 850 million subscribers. The State Grid of China spoke. It's the largest power company in the world. Volkswagen spoke, the largest auto manufacturer in the world. I mean, you go across all of these industries, and so many of them, the leaders in the world are deploying OpenStack. And it's because, all companies, all organizations are facing an environment where we have to build software, and we have to build software more quickly than ever before in order to compete, in order to innovate, and in order to do what our companies and our organizations need us to do. And OpenStack is enabling that. So seeing that kind of adoption and that serious production usage across all of these industries was really cool and very exciting to see. On the other end of the spectrum, the other thing that we saw was really about a lot of emerging technologies that are kind of adjacent to OpenStack, but are actually providing really important capabilities on top of OpenStack environments. And so if you remember that slide that Naughty had up that talked about the container and platform technologies that people were using the most with Kubernetes, Cloud Foundry, Cloudify, Docker Swarm, Mesos, et cetera. That came from our user survey, and the question that we asked on that was, what other technologies are you deploying with OpenStack? So all of those stats were coming from people who are running an OpenStack cloud and integrating container orchestration or platform as a service into that. And if you add up the numbers across there, you'll see that it actually adds up to more than 100%. Why is that? That's because in many cases, people are deploying multiple technologies. As he said, it's very early on, and the landscape is shifting rapidly. But what we are seeing is that people are deploying OpenStack to lay down kind of a foundation to automate their infrastructure, provide programmable compute, storage, and networking. And then on top of that, you can do a lot of cool things. You can do Kubernetes for doing container-based microservice applications. You can deploy a platform as a service and let your developers kind of move more quickly and not have to worry about infrastructure. But ultimately, all of those things need programmable access to compute, storage, and networking. And so Mark Collier, he gave a keynote at the OpenStack Summit, and he talked about this trend, and that was where he had Kobe speak and talked about running Kubernetes on top of OpenStack at live person in production. We had some speakers from Google, CoreOS, Time Warner Cable, a company from the Czech Republic that's building a smart city. All of them are doing these kinds of things. And Mark made the point that if we go back 15 years to when the internet was really becoming something that was much more than just static websites and email. It was becoming very dynamic. The World Wide Web was where business was moving and becoming the primary place that people went to work and play. One of the things that drove that was a standard stack that allowed people to quickly build dynamic web applications. The LAMP stack. Interesting thing about that is the LAMP stack is 4 different projects built by different communities. There are different licenses in there. But when you put them together, they created something that was really valuable, really powerful, and unleashed this massive wave of innovation on the internet. And I think that we are at a point where we're going to see that happen again in the cloud. And so, what is the LAMP stack of the cloud? It's not just OpenStack. I think OpenStack is going to be a piece of it for sure. But there are going to be other things that get paired with it to bring in those other capabilities that developers are looking for. There are going to be things like Kubernetes and other applications. And we're just starting to see what some of those might be and what those emerging patterns are. The theme of Mark's keynote, though, and the stage that we had there, that photo of Kobe was on, was this massive stage, had an 80-foot screen, and the point that Mark wanted to make at the end was collaborate or die. Collaborate or die. That's the world we live in now. We can't build this technology in a single company, in a single country, even in a single community. It's really about, how do we work together, and how do we bring these technologies together to build something more powerful than any of them on their own. And so, I think that's also a great theme for us to have today. And that's what, what we do as we have these OpenStack days all over the world, is we bring the community together in all of these countries to collaborate. And it's something that, we can figure out today as we go through different sessions. You can think about not just, what are people doing with OpenStack, what businesses are they building, what workloads are they running on it, but also, how do we extend that to bring even more value to this platform and go out and build the LAMP stack of the cloud. So now I want to call up a few different representatives that are going to be talking about some different things. Do we need to move a slide here? Or? Okay. So first up from VMware, help me welcome Dimitri Desmet. He is a senior technical product manager.
Yeah, okay. Thanks for clapping. It's unusual to get clapped at an OpenStack event when you have a VMware sticker on you, but thank you.
So, this is we have a slide up here that says, what is the best technology to pair with OpenStack? Maybe you can just talk to us a little bit about kind of what VMware's perspective is. As you said, it is interesting to have VMware, at OpenStack, but VMware's been involved in OpenStack for 4 years now, and has contributed a lot, especially on the networking side and on the compute side as well. But a lot of people aren't necessarily aware of that, so maybe you should just start there and talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, on the best technology for OpenStack, it's not a black and white answer, I think. There are many questions. It's a tough job when you have a new project and it's an OpenStack, which is not a product, which is more a framework, and you can plug many things in it, which have different requirements, different dependencies, and you may have some needs other people don't have. You talked about networking, so maybe you just want basic network, and you don't care about an IPAM integration with your enterprise, or you don't care about load balancing. Or what I try to say here is there are different OpenStacks, and that makes the choice difficult. And you have to reply to, those are just a sample of questions. How do you get your OpenStack? How do you upgrade? How do you troubleshoot? You can do it on your own, and then you pay some experts, or you use a distribution, Mirantis, Red Hat, whatever, or VMware VIO. And then you have to do all those questions. So it's not a black and white answer, and spend some time on that, what you want to do with your OpenStack, and that will make your life easier afterwards.
So you mentioned VIO or VMware Integrated OpenStack, which I think you guys launched last year. Is that you had a beta before that, but maybe you can talk a little bit about what the purpose is there.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, OpenStack is just an automation framework on the top of compute, virtualization, on storage, and network. If you try to summarize what is OpenStack, and VMware provided for many years a driver, a plugin for compute. So OpenStack can talk to vCenter, and everybody knows vCenter. I guess everybody knows vCenter and ESX, which has been there for compute virtualization for many years. Then provided a driver, a plugin for network from the Nicira acquisition, from Nicira. I don't know if you've heard about it. But there is, so from VMware, OpenStack drivers for compute using VMware stuff, vCenter, for storage, for network using NSX stuff. And what we decided to do 1 year ago is on the top of that, so you can use this without using the OpenStack, the VMware distribution, which is called VIO. You can do that on your own. You can use somebody's distribution like Mirantis, which supports the VMware solution behind. But on the top of that, we just decided to also provide for customers that are not experts in OpenStack, so not the one with long hair and tattoos, but they still want OpenStack because it's cool, and it helps a lot. It's not just because it's cool, it's because it helps a lot. But to provide an easy OpenStack solution, package. So you have just 12 questions to reply, and you do like next, like you do with vCenter. And you reply to those 12 questions, and 30 minutes later, boom, you have your OpenStack up and running, fully available. So it's not like DevStack for a lab and that's it. It's completely fully available. You can expand it. And in Austin, for the very few you've been, but it's all available on YouTube. Some people like Nike, like Amadeus, to speak in Europe, talked about their experience with VIO.
Okay, cool. All right. Are there more slides to this one? Or
No, you asked for one slide.
Okay.
Then I have 2 billion.
All right, cool. Well, thank you, Dimitri.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right. We're doing this live. And VMware is a topic that has been something that has there have been lots of questions about it as long as OpenStack's been around. We actually have a white paper that talks in pretty in-depth detail about different architectures for integrating VMware and OpenStack, which Dimitri mentioned a couple of those using just a vSphere or the hypervisor of VMware, or all the way up to doing VIO if you're interested in it. And you can go to the OpenStack.org website and see that. So next up, you might have guessed where we're going from here. We're going to HPE. So help me welcome Guidi Kampfer, who's a chief architect. Ah, yes. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
So you are a new HPE employee, is that correct? Did you come from?
I'm just learning to spell the third letter.
Yes.
I know HP was mentioned before. We joined the HP about a year ago from a company called ContextStream.
Mm-hmm.
It's a recent acquisition. And just after that, HP split into 2 companies. Still, HPE employs about 3,000 employees here in Israel, so it's one of the largest high-tech employers. And we're a small part of that. We're 50 people located in Petah Tikva. We're growing. We're recruiting, actually, so if you have your CVs out, our booth is just around the corner. But really, HPE in Israel has a strong consulting and services division, also with a group focused on OpenStack and cloud, of course. And so we're a small part of that. Well, I would say my focus in terms of this industry is in bringing SDN fabrics and solutions for NFV, network function virtualization, for the telecom vertical. And as part of that, we're working a lot on Open Daylight, which is, you mentioned, one of the tools that goes together with OpenStack. So we use Open Daylight for neutral networking in this industry.
Okay, so NFV was another topic that we talked about a lot at the last summit, actually the last couple of summits. And that's probably a great question to put to you is, what role does OpenStack play in the NFV landscape? And what things make it a good fit or not?
It's a good question. When we look at NFV, we're talking about the telecom vertical. So it's not just your vanilla enterprise organization. There are very special requirements for the telecom industry. And when we talk about the telecom industry, what they're trying to do is be more like any other enterprise. So they want to leverage tools like virtualization and cloud and address the special needs of the telecom industry. And for that matter, they of course would like to use OpenStack, but there are special requirements out there. So I think you can summarize it in three main aspects that NFV is special in. One is network performance. The second one is how you do data forwarding. And the third one is how you handle the distributed nature of the telecom network. So in terms of performance, you have a virtualized environment, you have virtual machines. They're of course much more flexible to use than your custom hardware solutions that you find in the telecom industry or the legacy telecom industry. So when you want to get network performance, which is critical for telecom applications out of virtual machines, you can revert to hardware acceleration such as SRIOV or PCI pass-through, or there are other curses out there that I could use. But if you're doing that, you're really moving away from what OpenStack and the cloud offers, so the full flexibility of a vanilla cloud, because you're basically already beginning to talk about where can I position this VM, does this server offer this hardware acceleration, etc. So you can get the performance, but then you lose the flexibility. On the other hand, going with OpenStack, you're challenged with networking performance. Recently at HPE, at ConStream, we've done some interesting work of combining OpenStack with Open Daylight, the SDN controller, and OVS, the vSwitch that is used on the hypervisors, accelerated with DPDK technology. And we've shown that you can actually reach several orders of magnitude better performance when compared to what you get out of vanilla OpenStack networking. So there is a challenge there, but OpenStack can certainly be leveraged for that. Another aspect of this is how you manage network forwarding in the telecom cloud. As opposed to normal forwarding in a typical enterprise cloud where you just send traffic from one server to another server, from one VM to another VM, based on destination address. In the telecom industry, it's very common to have traffic flow, for instance, from your phone to Google, but via certain stops on the way in order to provide certain services, to apply certain security policies. And here we're talking about a term that is commonly called service function chaining, which is, again, can be achieved using SDN controllers. Open Daylight, for instance, is one of those examples. And I think that's another aspect where telecom is very different from other OpenStack use cases in the general environment.
Okay. Well, yeah, so telecom industry loves the acronyms too. All right, well, thank you. Jeremy's giving me the keep it moving. All right, so next up we have Orgad Kimchi from Red Hat, Senior Cloud Architect. And this is, you got a slide up here with some of your users and the Red Hat OpenStack platform. Maybe you can tell us what some of the principles of the OpenStack platform that Red Hat builds are.
So First of all, in terms of this project, OpenStack is a strategic product in Red Hat. It's not one of the 100 product that we sell. This is one of our main products. So you can see the number of contributors, and it depends on the release, but we are almost in every project on the top 3. In addition to that, what we can see that we are in the latest OpenStack, the OSP8 of Red Hat, we combined a lot of, let's say, new technologies and integration with the entire Red Hat portfolio, such as the combination with Ceph, which is the storage defined solution. So most of our customers are looking for software-defined solution in addition to the compute network virtualization. Also, we are investing a lot of effort, especially in the Israeli R&D side. There will be another session today here talking about this, about how we invested in the network performance, especially for the telco industry, how we improve network performance. Another it's a feature for OSP8 is the ability to do upgrade from a different version of OpenStack, which was, let's say, one of the most challenging aspects when you deploy OpenStack in the field.
So, there are some logos up here from customers. What are some of the customer success stories that you have? I love users. Tell me about them.
Okay. So I think the most successful story is from Verizon, which is, I think, the largest known NFV deployment. What is interesting in this project that we can see that ISVs, also Israeli ISVs that working or developing application for Verizon, also ask to, let's say, do a certification on top of OpenStack. So we can see Verizon and the Israeli ISVs that also develop and certify their application on top of OpenStack, Red Hat OpenStack.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you. We have to keep it moving. So we have, thank you, Orgad. And we have one more, keeping the network theme going too, from Nuage Networks, Christoph Andreas. All right, Christoph.
Shalom.
So Nuage, can you give us the quick rundown of what you guys do?
First of all, shalom, shalom. Nice to be here in Tel Aviv. Beautiful, seriously. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, beautiful place. You guys party hard here too. So what do? We make the network cool again, you know? That's one of the things that we want to do. Make Neutron scale, perform, and make sure that the private clouds and whatever clouds with OpenStack actually work well, right? So we're also active in a lot of projects. I have one slide. I personally think slides are boring, so come by our booth for some demos and see the stuff in action. And we also collaborate with other projects. So Kubernetes, you mentioned, we are active in that project. And some other things around OVS and so forth. So we're very active. And we also have a presence in Israel with our friends from Nokia and Vitrage. I see here also the cloud band guys. So
cool. So what about users, customers? Do you have any success stories there?
yeah, we had a success story in Texas. One of the finalists that didn't win the award, they were going up against AT&T, who are very big. And respect to you guys. Yeah, respect. So we have a customer in the UK called Betfair, and I personally worked with them for a while. Very cool guys, and they spun up an OpenStack deployment with Nuage and others, you know, from software side, OpenStack from Red Hat and so forth. And they're running 1.27 billion API transactions on top of Nuage.
Wow. Okay. Cool. Well, so yes, Nuage booth Go see the
Yeah.
the demos and you know, don't worry about the slides, right?
Yeah, forget the slides. Come for the demos.
Okay, cool. So those were our 4 featured companies, and so thank you guys for having me here, and I'll hand it back over to Nadi.
Thank you very much, Jonathan. Great job. Where's Gidi? I'd like to invite Gidi from AT&T. An excellent continuation from Nuage to AT&T. So Gidi. First of all, the fact that I remember your name without mixing it, that's a big challenge for me, and I'm happy that I made it. By the end of the day, you're going to be called some other name. Just be aware of that. Anyway, 2 questions for you. First of all, for those who haven't been in Austin, what does AT&T do with OpenStack? Yeah.
Shalom. So AT&T, to piggyback on Jonathan's statement, we're here to collaborate. Collaboration or die, so we're here to collaborate. And AT&T is fully committed to open source and specifically to OpenStack. We've been a platinum member since 2012, which is history in OpenStack terms. And we've won the Super User Award just recently in Austin. The heart of this relationship lies in the true need of AT&T for SDN and NFV for virtualizing our network. We see constant growth in the usage of our network, of our mobile data network. We see, for example, a growth of 150,000% in the last decade with our mobile data. That's huge. And with IoT that was just mentioned, we know there's a huge increase in the amount of connected devices to our network. It increases from a subscriber, a SIM card for subscriber, which is hundreds of millions maybe, to billions of devices that are going to be connected to our network. And that means we need to rethink the way we build our network. We need to build it in a more flexible, modular way, and we need to build it on open and commodity hardware. And this is where OpenStack comes into place. We want to virtualize everything, and we want to use OpenStack, and we rely on OpenStack to be the virtualization layer for our resources. We currently have about 75 different zones that are running OpenStack. By now, it's probably 76 or something. And we are aiming for about 1,000 such zones by the year 2020 that will virtualize 75% of our network. And that's huge, that's ambitious, but we're on the right track of getting there. And on top of that layer of infrastructure, we're building what we call eComp. eComp is the layer that will design time and the runtime platform that will enable us to relate the applications and the NFVs to the infrastructure. eComp stands for Enhanced Control Orchestration Management Policy. It's a short name and very expressive, but it basically means that this is the way we find effective to run the network. And what's more important is that we publish this as a specification, and we are hoping that the community will help us standardize the way we build it so that we will have a common understanding with our vendors about how we're doing that.
Excellent. Speaking of collaboration, I can testify myself that this is actually a good partner to work with, and I'm happy to actually have you here and collaborate with you. The question that I have for you is, I know that this year we have a very big team here, and from what I know, there is also a lot of engineering work being done in Israel. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, so AT&T began its development center in Israel in 2007. We are now more than 500 employees here in the development center, of which 100 are doing cloud and eComp development. We are involved in various life cycle stages of the cloud. For example, we built the application that is used to design and automate the creation of the data centers themselves. We have built the application that is used for onboarding new applications to the cloud. What used to be long, tedious processes of approvals and procurements is now in the virtual world much simpler and much quicker. And we also are responsible for improving the fault tolerance of the cloud of OpenStack, and we're doing some major efforts there. AT&T has about 30 Scrum teams doing OpenStack work, and 7 of which are here in Israel.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Definitely a benchmark and a milestone. I think the fact that the big carrier, the biggest carrier in the world, I think, is running on top of OpenStack and driving the traffic that we all use and share at home, not here in Israel yet, but definitely in the US and other countries, is a big milestone. Thank you very much, Gidi. With that, I wanted to invite Lauren Sell. Lauren. And Avner could join us as well, and later on. So first of all, Lauren is the Sharon of OpenStack. That's how I call her. She's the person behind all the events, and we wanted to invite Kobe and the team from Live Person.
Oh, wow. So Nadi asked me to come help give out this award, which I'm very excited to do. And it's very cool that they're giving out these awards for the OpenStack Israel community as well. And we've known Kobe for a few years now. I think that he and his team were really pioneers in OpenStack. I believe you started on Cactus or Diablo, so quite a long time ago, which is pretty impressive. And we just really appreciate how generous you've been with your time, both here with the local community, but also globally. So a real OpenStack super user, and I believe is receiving the first OpenStack Israel Community Award. So congratulations.
Guys, you hear my name a lot, but it's the team. You! Thank you.
Okay, so next we're going to invite Mellanox. Where is Mellanox?
Hi, Mellanox. So everybody are here? Okay. So very proud to provide this award to Mellanox. As you know, Mellanox is one of the world leaders in high-speed networks, and I think it's one of the powerhouses for OpenStack, that such a company supports OpenStack and develops solutions based on OpenStack, so we can write OpenStack much faster. Okay, and thank you very much for your contributions.
Thank you very much. We have quite a lot of people here, but we also have other people in the different sites in Israel. We also have OpenStack developers in Ramallah and Gaza, which is, I think, quite unique for a company like Mellanox. And we appreciate this token. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Avner and Lauren, for all the support. And thank you for being on stage for the first time here in Israel.
Thank you.